Hey Las Vegas, thanks for joining us again on Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news and information show where we talk about all things real estate. We have an exciting show for you today because we're going to talk about solar, and I know everybody out there has questions on solar. It's something that people come to me a lot about. A lot of questions I get on it, like what does that mean? What does it do for your home? What are solar leases? Should I own? Should I lease? Does it benefit me? So we're going to dig really deep into that subject today and give you guys all the answers you need on that. Now, before we get started, if you guys are watching our show, you're following us, you're listening to us on any of our places, on Audible, on iTunes, on Amazon, Spotify, anywhere where you're listening, please take a moment, like, comment, share, leave us a review. We love the feedback, love to hear what you guys are thinking of the show. And if you download our show, you will be notified every week when we have a new episode. So keep on tuning in. We love hearing from you guys. We love talking to you. So thank you, Randy, for coming to our show today. We have Randy Garcia with Home Networks Electric and Solar. Randy, thank you so much for being here. You were on one of our shows a couple years back when I was doing just a little YouTube show. So we're having you back again and love the information that you provide. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Well, thank you again for having me again. And it's always a pleasure, working with you.
Thank you.
You're definitely a vibrant and busy person. So anytime
Thanks,
I get
Randy.
with you is appreciative.
Thanks.
So basically, my name is Randy Garcia. I started out in the Bay Area, San Jose, California. And we were basically an electrical low voltage shop, and we evolved into energy conservation, and that was in the early 2000s. And a buddy of mine came to me for solar and said that you should, get into this industry. And back then it was the kind of beginning of the season, and how people would, think of how to save money, because the crisis of the economy started crashing in about 2007, 2008. So a lot of homeowners were thinking, where can I save money? And saving money was on a monthly bill, which was your utility. So I started with definitely entertaining having solar installations done, and then eventually, to what it is today, getting involved with batteries with Tesla,
Yeah.
and SunPower as our solar company.
Yeah, and we're going to dig into a lot of questions about that with batteries, power walls, the SunPower, even like warranties, all that stuff. So that's good. We're very excited. I know you know your stuff when it comes to solar, so I'm very excited to get into those things today with you. Before we get started on the solar topic, I do want to, every week on our show, we talk about inventory. We talk about what's happening in the real estate market. And again, inventory is dropping. A portion of this is seasonal. We're in December. A lot of people don't want to list their homes in December. However, sales are happening. We're back into multiple offers on every home. Our current single family inventory is 2,694 homes on the market across all price ranges, all single family homes. And price reductions, we were in the high 5s and 6s for a couple months. Now we're down to 257 price reductions this week, which is definitely a really good indicator that our market is really doing well right now. For December, that's not typical, because this is usually the slowest month in real estate. What do you think's what is your perspective from the outside looking in? I know you're not a realtor, but like from the outside looking in, what do you think's going on with our market?
Well, we just recently sold our home in San Jose. We try to hang on to it, and do the travel nurse rental for rooms. It was working out until the COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we decided to go ahead and put our house on the market. And I believe at that time when we were selling it in this past July, it was definitely a hot market. And our home sat on the market for a little bit over 30 days, which is longer than average. A lot of the homes were sitting only 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Right. But it was because we weren't having a lot of the showings going on at that time. And I believe it was the way that our current house was completing construction and so forth, right? So that had a lot to do with it. But our house basically sold for about what we were asking. One of the strategies was to lower our costs so we can get a lot of potential buyers
Yeah.
to bid on it. and
Sometimes
so
you have
forth.
to adjust the price to get
Right.
the activity. And one thing
Get it
that
right
people
back up.
do see, like sometimes when you adjust the price, you end up getting higher than that just because the price is more attractive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a recommendation with our real estate agent. They were a great firm that walked us from beginning to end, and also pre-construction meetings. Had a team of builders and contractors that they used within their network, and got the job done. I would say, we're very happy with the results, especially in the market of the Bay Area. As far as Las Vegas, I don't know if I just heard it the other day that there was only, and someone said it was on TV, that there was only 58 homes on the market that was active or something like that, and it's still a very hot market in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Only because of the traction that Las Vegas is pulling, not only from California, which is its biggest draw, but from other states, neighboring states, Utah and
Right.
Arizona, Texas, and
Well, coming from California, I'm sure you would agree that it's a lot more affordable to live here. It is-
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Our home we purchased in 2018 has actually almost doubled
Yeah.
in equity.
Yeah. That's
So
common.
It's still a hot market.
Yeah.
People are, and this is what I heard in this interview yesterday, that people are trying to wait, thinking that the price is going to drop, and actually it's quite the opposite right now.
Yes.
It's still gaining traction. It's still a hot market. Those that are renting right now is becoming their rent is going up.
And it's becoming
by-
unaffordable.
Yeah, by a few $100s a month,
Yeah.
increase.
Yeah.
So now it's actually cheaper to own your house than it is to rent.
Yeah.
So I foresee in the way that the land is being built out, that there's going to be definitely a lot more moving here if they can. So one of the drawbacks, though, is material shortage,
Yeah.
labor shortages.
Yeah. I'm building new homes. Yeah.
On building new homes, which is keeping not only the value where it's at, but also increasing, the cost on it.
Yeah.
So, what you can do to get your hands on a home right now, and just hang on to it, and use it as an investment. To maybe that might not be the home for you now, but you can sell it for a profit, and later on, when the market and the materials actually clears up the existing issues as far as inventory, you could buy the home that you want
Yeah.
without wasting money going towards leasing or renting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about it. I seen a joke recently that said they're going to sell their home for parts because materials cost so much.
Yeah.
But there's truth, that there is so much truth to that. The material shortages are causing a lot of this, and it is what it is. I mean, price of everything's going up. Also, the price of homes.
I heard that even the price of chicken nuggets
Yeah.
is going up. Did
The
you
price,
know
the
that the
price
other
of
day?
everything is up. Oh my gosh, food, everything. It's like, I mean, it's just, it's insane what's going on right now. But cost of living is certainly higher, and all of that will all tie in together as one. And renting, that's one thing. When you're renting your home, you are just, you're vulnerable to whatever the prices are going to change. When you purchase a home, once you have purchased that home, your mortgage is what your mortgage is. Property taxes may change, little by little, but it's usually not anything substantial, but your mortgage will stay the same. So you can be 10 years ago on a house payment, and once things increase, and you can't do that when you're stuck in a rental.
No,
So,
absolutely not.
so let's get into solar.
Sure,
That's what you're here for, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, so one thing that I see, I would say the biggest question I have from current homeowners that, people I've sold homes to, they'll call me, later on down the line, and they'll say, hey, I'm thinking of considering solar. Should I purchase it or should I lease it? What's the difference between that? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So it depends. Of course, ultimately purchasing is going to get you the best return on your investment. And if you have the tax appetite in order to take advantage of the 26% federal tax credit.
And that's a huge credit.
That's huge right
Yeah.
now. So that's still going on for this year and next year. Then it will drop down to 19%, and then eventually, that you miss that opportunity, and that's a huge chunk, being able to take advantage of right now.
Because
that's an incentive.
that overall price, that's like taking 26% off the price of what you're purchasing it for, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you get to write it off on your taxes.
I mean, the way that I present my quotes is, proposals is I tell them the gross costs up front, because if you can't afford to purchase it up front, right, there's no reason that trying to disguise that this is what you're paying, and a lot of these other dealers will say the bottom line price, but you have to put up that cost. Then I let them know, okay, this is what you will get back. However, it's not in the form of a check, it's in form of a tax credit. And you have to have the tax appetite that allows you, in order to at least see that as an advantage of why you would much rather purchase a solar system that's going to be saving you money as a return on investment than to go ahead at the end of the year, pay those taxes, to the IRS. So a lot of people understand that financially up front there's a huge incentive, and then a long-term advantage, because money saved is money earned. So at the end of basically your ROI period, which is generally about 10 years or so you want to calculate it to be, money saved is money earned. So that money that you would have been paying and having to pay the utility company, you can keep in your pocket.
Yeah.
And it's great for retirement.
And so much like rents, one thing that we all know about the utility company is the rates aren't getting any lower.
No, they're not.
They're
Actually,
not.
They're going up.
They're constantly increasing. So, I mean, it is. I have solar on my home, and it's owned. It's paid for, and I can't imagine if I ever sell or purchase another home or whatever, I have to have solar. Like, I can't imagine paying a utility bill again.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And to answer your question, which I didn't answer, leasing. right?
Yes.
Leasing is can be an advantage if you are retired, that you don't have the tax benefit. Maybe you don't have the cash up front to get it. That's another strategy in still going solar.
Because there is no cost up front when you lease panels, correct?
Yes, there's no cost, but you're not able to take that tax.
Right. Because you technically
Tax
aren't
break,
purchasing
correct.
them, so you're
Right.
not getting the tax
The
incentive.
company's actually taking that tax credit, and you're just paying, a monthly cost for it, which will average about the same as your existing bill. So ultimately, you want to, either purchase the system through a loan, but don't go lease.
Yeah, and one of the things that I have noticed with leases from the real estate perspective is sometimes they can hurt
the
you
deal.
selling. They can actually affect the sell because while in the grand scheme of things, I don't think lease panels is a bad idea because it does have a fixed guaranteed rate for the energy that you use, where again, when you go to the energy company, that rate can always go up, can always change. That lease at least locks in what your energy rate's going to be for those panels.
Correct.
So there is savings there. There is. But the trouble with leases is a buyer's buying a home. They're committing, and I mean, especially think of a first-time buyer. They're committing to a 30-year mortgage. This is a huge deal. And now you're telling them to commit to a 30-year solar lease that someone else purchased. And one of the biggest challenges is, the salespeople that come and they sign people up for these leases and they do everything. They do a good job of explaining what it is. When we're in real estate, we don't have a salesperson sitting there with the buyer telling the buyer why they should, get this lease. The buyer's just like, no, that's a 30-year commitment. That seems like forever. I'm already committing to a mortgage. It's daunting.
Yeah.
And that can be a struggle in real estate sales because the
absolutely.
lease has to transfer with the property,
Right.
or the seller has to pay it off. Which usually if they got the lease in the first place means that they didn't have the means to pay off the solar.
Right.
So
I mean, kicking the can down the road is, a horrible option, especially when it comes to you don't know the future of what you're going to do with the house.
Right.
And that can actually blow the deal.
It can, and I've seen it happen. And again, there's times where, we get that PPA agreement and I've reviewed over it with the buyers and the buyers, and we all say, this makes sense. It's okay.
Yeah.
It really depends. And it's the conversations, some people don't know how to explain even what those contracts mean. So that hurts the deal.
Yeah. The best way I can explain it is that going into it with the best of intentions. That's why I don't like selling leases. We absolutely avoid leases. I can count on one hand the amount of leases that we sell throughout the entire time that we've been in the solar industry. We always push for purchase through cash or through a loan that you can get, finance program that you can get through your bank. Our intention is to have the best outcome for you as a homeowner. And the reason why is that we build our relations with you long term. It's just not a one and done. A lot of these companies, they're setting up for 4 or 5 years, and then they fold their company and then open it. Now, they've canceled all their liabilities and sold their assets. We've been around since 1999, and we're a family-owned and operated business. That's why we have great relationships with SunPower, and we have for our solar company, and we have great relationships with Tesla. And Tesla right now, if you go onto the website, we are one of the preferred contractors for energy storage, your installation for your EV charging station.
Yep.
And now we just recently added on the solution for solar, being able to offer Tesla solar. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, I did see you when I bought my Tesla. I seen you on the website. I was like, hey, I know him. And you installed my charger.
Yes.
So that, yes, you're definitely there. Now, one thing when you own panels, from an appraiser and a value standpoint, for your home, when you own solar panels, an appraiser will consider those as value. Some of the things that the appraiser looks at, which you really, if you do own solar and you are looking to sell your house, you want to have a conversation with your agent about, do they understand what this means? Do they understand what they need to do? Because appraisers sometimes will want to see documentation around that. They want to see if it's warranted. They want to see if the company that you purchased the solar for is no longer around or out of business, because sometimes those microinverters are no longer, some of them are obsolete, and the value that can affect the value of the panels. What you're through. I mean, definitely if you're through Tesla or SunPower, reputable companies, they've been around for a while, so you're probably in good shape there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the questions when we did sell our house was on the disclosure, how old the solar system was,
Yeah.
what size it was, do we own it,
Yep.
or are we leasing it? That's, one of the upfront questions that they ask you.
Yeah.
Because those are things that they need to overcome if you do happen to lease it. And it just throws, a big wrench in the whole process.
Right.
Like I said, it can blow the deal. So the way that you initially set it up is you set your customers up for success, not with the evil intention of just trying to get that commission on that sale. And that's what they're doing. They're slamming them into these sales and not thinking about the long-term, choices that these homeowners might have to make when it comes time. Nobody knows that they're going to sell their home until, years later. And so
Life changes.
Life changes.
That's just
Yeah.
that just happens. Yeah.
Yep.
Some people say I'm gonna live here forever, and then something changes, and they say, you know what, I'm out. And that's just the cycles of life. Now, when you have solar, what type of maintenance is involved? Like, is there any maintenance? Because I know with my home, I don't think we don't do anything. They're just there. Like, what should you be doing as far as maintenance?
Basically, your solar panels are designed in standard environments, or is set up so that way the rain will clean them. Once a year.
Washes them off, right?
Washes
Once a
them
year,
off.
once every couple of years here in Vegas.
But the maintenance that you should pay attention to is any decrease of production. If you have a monitoring app, definitely look at what your contract initially said, and it will have a bar graph, January through December, of what their predicted production would be. If it's anywhere near half that, then you might want to consider, washing your panels, or having, a company that specializes in washing your panels, and that will increase definitely the productivity and getting the most for your money.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially, here in Nevada, where it does not rain as much as it does in other states, you definitely want to consider just having a yearly visit from maybe someone in the roofing industry that you can call up and say, hey, do you have any guys that would be able to go up there and clean the panels? Let's make a deal with them. An average cost is about $25 per panel. So you do that once a year, kind of maintenance, and making sure that you have the proper output and there's no kind of errors. Fortunately, with SunPower and Tesla, the notifications that not only you will get, but the in-house company will get, their tech support will shoot out a message right away and say, hey, these panels are underproducing. So before even the homeowner knows, we'll know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I've had that on, like mine are warranted by SunPower, and I've had that where they've just like contacted me. They did it recently, and they're like, "Oh, we need to check something on your panels or whatever." I'm like, "Really? Why? Like, what's going on?" But something's going on, so that's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. I'll get like someone reach out to me. I'm just like, "Are you sure?" But it's good. It's good to know. But it can, having them cleaned to produce better is definitely that makes perfect sense. It's because that's where they're collecting from the sun. If they're all fogged up, they're probably not going to be working as well.
Amount of dust that collects on it.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of wind and.
It's dusty here.
Oh yeah.
We're in a dust bowl.
The dust bowl, exactly. So
Yeah.
it will definitely benefit in order to get it cleaned.
Yeah. And what about smart cars, Randy? So smart cars are, they're great. You plug them in, you charge them, you don't have to use gas. I mean, it definitely does increase your energy bill. If you have solar, there's a lot of benefits to that because it offsets that, that cost. And I mean, mine, because I have solar, my energy bill since having a smart car has gone up probably I'd say $30 to $40 a month, which is great, but that's because I have solar. So I could imagine if you don't, it probably can go up a couple hundred a month.
I mean,
easy.
How much were you paying in gas?
Right. No, no, it's a no-brainer. I am not complaining.
Right. Let me ask you, how do you like your EV?
Oh, I love it. No, I love it. I mean, I'm a realtor. I put over 20,000 miles on my car just in the year I've had the electric vehicle. So, I mean, just the amount that I've saved in gas and not having to do oil changes. I mean, just the little things you don't think about. It's like, wow, that's so peace of mind. I love it. I absolutely love it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are making that switch, and having, let's say, both type of vehicles, one for inner city commute, right, and one to maybe, for long distance driving, a vehicle until electric vehicles will have that range.
Yeah.
Definitely having both vehicles is a smart thing to just kind of strategize, your trips or your daily commutes.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't take my car on a road trip. I wouldn't
No.
feel safe. Yeah.
You'll have to invest a lot of time. So,
yeah, no, stopping
Yeah.
at station. No,
Oh, yeah,
no.
yeah,
It's inner city only.
So, for example, we'll have to charge like maybe 3 times, in order to get to California, right, in the Bay Area. So you'll turn a potential 8-hour trip into like a 12, 13-hour trip, right?
Yeah, that's
so
frustrating.
You gotta account for that. It's just a way of thinking. But if you're not paying, $5 a gallon
Yeah,
of gas,
true.
some people
There's
don't
savings.
mind it, right?
There's savings.
There's
yeah.
definite savings,
Yeah, there's definitely a give and take there.
But EV is definitely today and the future.
yeah.
And the way that I believe even California worked it out by 2035, that they plan to have the state go 100%, electric vehicle in terms of the sales.
Wow.
Right. So you're noticing a lot of vendors right now get into the EV market.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not just Tesla. Not just Prius, but there's new vendors coming out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting, time.
I've seen a lot of
Infrastructure.
different styles of cars in EV lately, and are, I mean, one of them. There's one in my neighborhood. I can't even remember what model car it is, but it looks like a toy car. It does. But there's a lot more coming out. So
They're
good options.
Let's put it this way. It's actually a pretty sporty and fast vehicle. I had a 5.0 Mustang come up to me and want to race, right? And I roll down the window. I'm like, "Are you serious? Okay, let's do this," right? Not that I'm promoting racing or anything, but
Don't do street racing.
Yeah, I dusted that 5.0 Mustang,
Wow.
and it was like, he didn't even want to see it anymore. He just turned down the street. So.
Yeah, because there's no get up. It just goes. It just goes.
Right.
It's crazy. It's like a rocket. I always call it like a rocket. It's just like a little rocket ship. But yeah, I don't go over the speed limit, so don't send me tickets.
You know what? This was in a track environment too.
Yeah, you were on the speedway practicing, right? Absolutely. Power walls. Power walls are, the way I see what a power wall is basically get you off the grid. Can you explain how that works, what the benefits would be, and if it's something that people should consider?
Okay, so power walls, to start off with, our energy storage unit, and they are definitely not, in terms of a way of looking, is return on your investment. So for the time being, a lot of specific homeowners that purchase these units use it for a tax write-off too as well. There's still a 26% write-off on this. The way that I explain this to our customers is, especially in let's say California, where there was a lot of fires, a lot of outages, even pre-warned events where they notify the homeowners that they're going to be turning off that power. Well, people have been working from home. Their kids have been home educated, that their security systems are on the systems, their communications, their internet, their food, refrigeration, lights. These are things that, yes, definitely it would be nice to have on during these times. It is a luxury. It's not for everyone, but you can't put a price on that. Let's say you're working on a deal and you need to get your work in, and the power's out. You can't calculate that and say, here, this is what the advantage is. They are costly at this time, and until the price goes down, it's not for everyone. But there are a lot of advantages to having backup storage, and definitely the price range that they are is around 27 to 28,000 fully installed with equipment for a whole home battery backup. For partial home, for just selected circuits, it's about 16,500 or so.
Okay.
So it's that's.
So
what
you
you're
don't
looking at.
have to do whole home. You could do just certain circuits in the home,
You
like
can-
have it to where your AC still runs in and out. No.
So AC is definitely on two power walls.
Okay.
So you want to make the decision whether or not you want to do critical loads or you want to do whole home backup. Setting up for whole home is a lot easier to just do and get out of the way from the beginning than it is to set it up for critical loads, which is your light, your refrigerator, maybe your communication systems, and then later realize, you know what, I want to add that secondary battery so we can go whole home backup. And then we have to reconfigure the setup on your electrical system, and then
The energy load.
so it will cost you more in the long run to do the conversion that ultimately 95% of our customers end up going whole home backup. So just do it right in the beginning.
Right. And two of the benefits that I really see with that is, one, say there is a power outage and it's like, citywide, right? And obviously your security systems are down, you're definitely vulnerable to a lot of things during that time. If you have a generator system, which is great, a lot of people have backup generator. The whole neighborhood knows what house has a generator.
Yeah.
I just feel like the security of that is not so good. So like having that, it's silent, and
Automatic.
you're still able to do that. I mean, I know that's thinking like dark, like zombie apocalypse type stuff. But if there was something that was, like really drastic, you could be vulnerable just having that generator running. And having that, the backup power is there. Even if like you have solar, you own your solar. One thing that I know what I'm trying to really be mindful of right now, just having an electric vehicle, is I try to make sure I charge my vehicle during the sunlight. Like if I get home, there's still sun out, I want to charge then, because then I'm using the solar energy and not connected to the the NV energy grid.
I mean, that's a great way of thinking of it, but your actual utility meter is actually like a tug of war, right? So during the day, sun is producing kilowatts and it's pulling towards solar. And during the night, it's drawing power your home from the grid, and
Right.
it's pulling that meter the other direction
Right.
towards the utility. Well, as a constant battle going back and forth, it's where you end up at the end of the month,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you could use it during the day, you could use it during the night.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter because you're going to have that offset no matter what.
Right.
Now, with power walls, what we designed your system to do is to store that energy that you produce during the day, and then use that energy during the night.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
essentially, you're staying off the grid about 95 to 98% of the time,
Yeah,
right? And that's the ultimate goal.
that is. Yeah.
So it's great to be able to have, and like I said, in the Bay Area, there's a huge advantage because there was all the fires. There's a lot of the techs, the tech industry. The average or the medium income is, if you make $100,000 in the Bay Area, you're essentially, in poverty, right? So it's a lot different than here in the Valley in Las Vegas, only because of the industry of the masses here are in the service industry, right? So they work at the casinos, the restaurants, basically a lot of the service industries. So the median income here is around $60K, and that's for both husband and wife.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, huge difference. So power walls are not as prominent here, only because of affordability and versus how they are in other markets such as the Bay Area right now. And that's just keeping it 100.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. So Randy, if people have more questions, how do they contact you?
You can, number is going to be listed below right here, is 408 in California, 254-HOME, or you can give a call at 702-333-2412, or log on to our website. It's homenes.com. Give us a call, log on. Love to see if I can help you out. It doesn't even have to convert to some new business. I love talking about it and trying to help people out. And definitely set it up for a long-term relationship.
That's great. Thank you, Randy. And definitely, if you guys have questions regarding solar, you should reach out to Randy, ask some more questions, see if it's right for you. And you guys know how to reach me, 702-308-2878. I can always connect you with Randy if you need. You can reach out to me if you missed his number or something by any chance. It will be on our website and on all the links. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure you like, comment, share, leave us feedback. Next week, we will not be airing. I know during these holiday seasons, we have some breaks. So we will not be here, but we will see you guys the week after. We'll talk to you soon and see you again on Realty Check.